Hello. We really are live.
Hello.
How long has it been, darling?
Oh man, I don't even know. I couldn't even guess.
You think over a year?
Probably.
Really?
I'd be very interested to know, but I think so.
Actually, I could just look it up right now. It's on your face, though.
Oh, okay. Cool.
You're not going to sustain this conversation.
Oh, I don't. What am I supposed to say? Hello. Welcome to
Oh my.
YouTube channel.
It's been 11 months.
Oh, so almost a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And let's see how accurate. 11 months. May 3rd. So yeah, pretty much
Wow.
exactly. It's been 11 months.
That's crazy.
What? We got to catch everybody up. What's happened this past year?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. So much. May. So April. So I just published my first book.
That's why we did
my
it.
second book.
Yeah, the first book
But
to
first
the wild.
yeah.
That's why we did it.
Was that what it was for?
Yeah.
Wow. And I've published another one, and I'm writing another one. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That makes sense. I do remember talking about that. But I can't believe that's the last time I was on here.
Yeah. Well, comment below where you are watching from. We're just going to be chatting tonight. We'd love to have people enter the chat and we can talk. Okay. What's up, Van Camps? Good to see you. Good to see you, Pastor Josh. Josh Putnam. Man, it's been forever since I've talked to you, man. Hope you're doing well. Things are going well over here. I think I'm getting back into YouTube. How do you feel about that?
Great. I feel like you have a joy about like editing that you haven't had. I mean, like you've always had the joy to edit, but you haven't been active. Yeah, in order to edit. So that'll be, I think, a fun thing for you to do.
Love editing videos. I think back in the day, this is what it always is. My apologies. Whenever we get together, we talk about your book stuff, which is amazing. I talk about I think I'm going to do this on YouTube. And then we talk about our marriage and we talk about our church. But I mean,
that's our life.
we don't talk about our kids. Yeah, I think actually the reason, literally I upload videos every single week. Like I do Formed by Jesus podcast. Like I'm on YouTube, but not necessarily as much with my channel. So I'm excited to get a strategy together. I actually have a team helping me figure out a strategy.
It's crazy.
Which is crazy.
That is crazy.
Did you even know that?
I don't know if I knew that. Did I know that?
I don't know. Maybe I didn't tell you.
How recent is that?
Oh man, like a week and a half ago was our first meeting.
Meeting? You had a meeting with people?
Yeah. And the next meeting's going to be like
Do I know them?
Of course.
I know these people?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
So anyways, we're really good at communication. So follow us for more on how to communicate well. No, it's a bigger, I can tell. I don't know. I don't want to spill the beans too soon.
No, good job.
Okay. The most recent thing that I've noticed in my life is I don't know idioms. I don't know why. I don't know who to blame other than myself. Almost every day.
Literally.
What was yesterday's?
Well, you told me it wasn't what I thought you were saying, but...
No, the cylinders one.
Oh, clicking on all cylinders instead of firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, to me that totally made sense. I'm like, oh man. We're not clicking on all cylinders.
Cylinders don't click.
I don't even know what cylinders are.
I thought it was in reference to like a car. Like,
yeah, I think it's a car.
Okay. Yeah. No, there's another one. I don't even know. He doesn't know how to say you pick yourself up by your bootstraps.
I say from your bootstraps. I don't think that's bad.
It is. It's weird.
I also say needle that broke the camel's back.
Mm-hmm. Instead of needle in a haystack.
Can you explain why I think it's needle?
I did. I gave some very great insight. I said that I think that he mixes the needle in the haystack and the straw that broke the camel's back, mix those up. Because in the Bible, it talks about a camel going through the eye of a needle. And so I think in your mind, when you think needle, you think camel, you think needle. And so that's why he mixes those two idioms.
Just because I'm biblical. Yeah. So let's catch some people up. You guys feel free to steer this conversation. I'm talking to the chat. We have a few people tuned in. So since you want to do this, since we last went live.
Oh my. That's a lot for me to think.
That is a lot. Has the most happened this past year?
I feel like. I mean, obviously things were happening when we were like adding to our family and having kids and like that. But like without any major, I don't even want to say major like life changes because I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like we didn't move houses and we didn't have a kid. But
let's say like church and career was been the most major year.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's been a lot. Why are you staring at me?
I don't know if you want to keep talking.
Oh, I thought you were.
I'm not going to cut you off.
No.
Yeah, I mean, our church has gone really well. Our church is doing really well. Things are going super well there. I've always been against those who like, our church is doing well, insert attendance number. So I don't want to do that. But things have been going well in that area and just so many different other areas. It's been really cool. We're still doing the Formed by Jesus podcast. And this week we uploaded one on fasting, like a testimonial. And it had like 700 views within the first 2 days, which is pretty crazy. I'm like, man, I need to figure out how to do that for my channel again. But yeah, I don't know. A lot has happened this past year. I just can't believe it's been a year. I've been uploading videos, but we haven't done our Q&Trey in Jordan.
Right,
but people constantly say it's their favorite thing about this channel, and it's just been forever.
It has been forever. What would it look like for your channel to be our channel?
Ooh, that's a big sacrifice.
Wow.
I need to go to that meeting first and see what they say. You want it to be our channel?
I'm just joking.
So now I should have gotten points by being like, that's amazing.
Literally, and you failed.
Wow.
Test failed.
You
just kidding.
I
don't know what that would look like.
I include you all the time. I do know. Like once a year.
Once a year, yeah. I do know that there are like people out there. Okay, I can't say that because I don't want YouTube. But from my understanding, there are like couples that do like YouTube together.
Well, we're never organized enough. Where literally the extent of this was, hey, let's.
That's why I said, what would it look like?
I need to have that meeting again. Do you want to know who's at the meeting?
You can tell me later.
Okay.
You don't have to tell me live online.
Okay.
With our 50 million watchers, viewers.
Guys, please ask questions to direct this conversation. One thing you did say to me recently is you have noticed that I have changed the way I share online. You want to pontificate on that?
Change the way you share online.
So back in the day, I would just upload anything and everything, and I would share anything and everything, and I'm a lot more guarded.
Yeah, I think that you have. I feel like you. I'm gonna mix up these words. I just know it.
Are you gonna mess up an idiom?
No, it's not an idiom, but like the definition. I feel like you have figured out how to be. Authentic without being vulnerable, or vulnerable without being authentic.
Yes.
Which one's
okay.
which?
Okay. So I think my brother-in-law John Bolin had a podcast. Man, this was like 6 years ago, and people still bring it up to me when I had him on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
The difference between vulnerability and transparency.
That's the word. Okay.
So I still get confused on which is which.
I know.
But I think he was saying, I think this makes the most sense. Transparent with all.
Vulnerable with some or with few. Okay.
Yeah. So transparent, like if you're not transparent, you're shady.
Yeah.
Like you're doing things with hidden motivations and all that.
Right.
So that's not like, no, I'm transparent. I'm not hiding anything. But to be vulnerable, I've learned the past few years, there's so many layers to that. One is like, okay, why am I being vulnerable?
What are you seeking?
What am I seeking? Am I seeking validation here? Am I seeking people to affirm? So that's what I love is the freedom. I haven't felt that need to upload or to use our pain as a story because I don't need that from my audience. And I think sadly in years past, I think there was part of it's like, you know, there was so much for us, what we were doing with our church that had like no validation, that it felt great to have a YouTube channel to say like, okay, at least people are seeing, like they're applauding what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
But if you look at just at our church, it was like, I feel like we're always just hitting our head against the wall.
Right.
Okay. But so I just think about all the stuff that's happened this past year, and I could have totally just flipped open the camera.
Oh, for sure.
But I think it'd be hurtful to those that we lead.
Yeah.
That's the other part. Like now we have people to think about and to shepherd. And it's like, yeah, sure, I can use this story, but then people are asked, well, who are you talking about? You know, and it's just not wise to do that. So I remember for years, I keep acting. I mean, it has been years. I would be interviewed on podcasts and people are like, are you sure it's like wise to be vulnerable? And I'm like, come on. And so it's like, people love authenticity. That's what you need to do. Now I understand that question a little bit better.
Yeah. So that was my point to say. I think that you have in your early years were very vulnerable, whereas now you're more just transparent. And you're still vulnerable, but with, again, the select few of people who are trusted people to speak into your life.
Yeah, and the other thing I learned is you can be vulnerable as long as you've been healed from it. So, like people on my team and friends of mine, when I'm processing something that's hurtful or whatever, I would typically want to, in the early years, use it immediately as a sermon illustration, but I wasn't quite healed from it. It's like, no, don't share that until you're healed. Or else, again, you're looking to get something like for validation rather than actually give people value.
Right.
Joe. Hello, Joe. Man, it's been forever. So this is hello from Tennessee. Pray for us. We're here flooding here in Bradford, Idlewild. So that was my grandma's neighbor.
That's right. Yes. Okay. I remember that.
Helped take care of my grandma's house.
Yeah.
Man, I heard there's all sorts of stuff happening in Tennessee.
Oh my goodness, the tornadoes.
Flooding.
We have a lot of people that we know in Franklin.
Yes. Franklin.
Right?
Mount Juliet.
Oh, but we know people in Franklin too, don't we?
I don't know anybody in Franklin.
I'm saying the right down, aren't I?
Look at us being all guarded. Talk about transparent versus
Tim
vulnerable.
and Robin live in.
Oh, they do?
Franklin.
Yeah, they do.
Doesn't your cousin live in Franklin?
No, he doesn't live in Franklin anymore.
Okay, but that's where you went, right? You went to Franklin?
Yeah, we checked out Franklin.
Okay. I see. I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
I know people who live in Franklin then.
True. Well, make sure you guys comment down below. I see people either like the video and steer this ship. Is that the right idiom?
That is, actually.
So yesterday, or it's a couple days ago, I was with Caleb and I was like, all right, let me help steer the train. And he's like, that's so funny because literally that's the one automotive vehicle that you don't steer.
You don't steer, it runs on tracks.
Oh,
that's
man.
funny.
Yeah, that was one of the worst ones.
You do say land the plane a lot, and that's normal. That's what you're supposed to say.
Yeah. So tell me about your book. So the last time, 11 months ago, we had just launched
Whisk Me Away. Yeah.
And then you also
published Carry Me Away. And now it is Sweep Me Away. I am writing.
Or was I not allowed to share it?
No, I posted that on my social media.
Okay, yeah.
So just recently. But yeah, so man, I think I published.
Tell them how rich we are from all of our book sales.
Oh, yes. So very rich in heart. Yeah, I published Carry Me Away, I think in like August or September, somewhere around there. And then been working on this next one. And the amount of months between book 1 and book 2 has almost been double the amount of time between book 2 and book 3. But that's because I got a full-time job and I work outside the home now. And so it's taken me a lot to figure out like a rhythm of writing. And so, but now I'm I don't know, 55 to 60% of the way through the story. And I feel like we've hit that point in the story where I'm like, okay, like I'm anxious. Like I am chomping at the bit. There's an idiom. I want to get it done. Like I see where it's going. I know where I want it to go. And I even have it planned out, the things that should happen from this point until the end. And so now I'm just like trying to find every little minute I can to write. And so that's been fun.
It's been fun for you to do that. And Jason Mayfield's in the chat. I love you guys. I haven't talked to
hope
Jason
he's doing well.
in about 10 months, it feels like, since we last went live. But he's also an author. And something I find interesting is you definitely have everything about the word count, the page count.
Yeah,
the word count. And, I wrote a book, but word count was kind of a goal. But I think, like, in the nonfiction world, it's more important. Like, did you state your case? Right. Is it succinct? But yours can literally be, because it's all made up. Like, no, I just want to hit 70,000. So that's like my marker on.
Yeah. So I researched that a lot. And there's just like an overall, like, general, here's how many words are per genre. So, like, they even break it down to, like a fantasy versus romance. Like, those word counts are different.
Yeah.
And then I've taken within that, like, parameter, I have taken, like, my own preferences as well as other readers' preferences on how long or short, like, a romance book should be.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, a romance book that's over 300 pages, I'm out. Like, that's just get to the point almost.
Well, my book, I made it shorter than it could have been. There was one guy, Josh Spector. I follow him online. If you guys are interested in creating content, he's a great follow. But he said at the end of every chapter, go back and remove 10% of it. And so that's what I would do. I'd write the whole thing and then delete 10%. And in fact, comment below if you want me to make a video on this or talk about this tonight. I'm now trying something new. I've been encouraged to do this for years, and I'm finally doing it now. I'm prepping my sermons a week away. So, like, I have my sermon done now for not this Sunday, but next Sunday. But I think what's great about that is I can come back to it real quick, Thursday, remove 10% of it. I think there's something about, like, okay, what can be chopped off? Like, there's nothing, kill your darlings. So I'm interested to see that kind of strategy. But for yours, it's almost like, man, don't get rid of the hangout scene.
Yeah, like you need a little bit of fluff.
You need some fluff.
Because that's how you get to know characters. That's how you draw a reader in to feel connected to a character.
Which I don't understand because I don't read fiction. I read your fiction.
That's true.
And it's enjoyable. You had me, I think, cry once. So shout out to you.
Wow. Was that in book 2 or book 1?
Oh, man. Book 1.
Book 1. Well, I think book 1 got everyone.
Yeah.
Me included as I was writing it.
Yeah.
Shoot, I was going to say something.
Well, as you do that, Britt Terry says hi. Hello.
Hello.
Kevin says, hey, love to see you live streaming. Thank you. We used to do this all the time. It's been 11 months. Jason says, I've been recovering. So, yeah, he had shoulder surgery. Poor guy. I just missed talking to him. And then, oh, man, Ivan Luther. I waited for this. Thanks, brother. One of my favorite commenters. Always bringing the love. Okay, so...
I was going to say something about writing and word count. And
so you're going to finish up this trilogy and move on to a different series?
Yeah. I had originally thought like I'd have 5 books in the series because there are like friends that tie in and like Karis's sister and but I think I'm going to end it in a trilogy. So it's just the 3 Landon brothers.
Is it because you don't like the book covers I made and you just want to be done with them?
No, not at all. It's actually, I feel like my titles have boxed me in where I'm struggling to figure out what 2 more like blank me away titles would be. Here they are. I love the covers. I think they're so cute. But yeah, I'm running out of words to use for.
Can you guys hear the dog in the chat? Let me know.
I thought I'm sorry.
So
I do the only thing I can. But yeah, so I'm going to end it. It's going to be a trilogy, 1, 2, 3. And then
you wrote all those words.
I did write all of these words.
Plus that again.
It's insane.
Are each of them 70? What's the count? Is this last one
this
shortest?
One's a little longer than the first one. Let me see. I'll give you page numbers because that's easier to gauge. He's just getting louder.
He's getting louder. It's your dog, not mine.
Sorry. Do I let him out?
Probably.
Okay, so this one's $2.49 and this one's $2.38. So literally like 10 pages more.
That's consistent.
And so they're around like 68 and 70 word count.
Gotcha.
It's
cool.
they're real close in word count. But so trilogy, and then if I decide to I didn't hear what you said.
They said they can hear but not distracting.
Oh, the dog. Okay. And then if I decide to write Ryan's story and Ryan and someone and Eden and someone, then I'll do those as like spin-offs that are like standalone, but they still tie into the Ashwood Falls world.
Nice.
I kind of want anything I write to tie into the Ashwood Falls world, because it's like you just get to continue to build, and then you see other characters tie in. It's like I've created a whole little world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, maybe let him out, I guess.
Okay.
I think he's freaking out that he thinks that other dog we're dog sitting is enjoying your presence without you.
Probably. I tried to trick him, but
when you get back, Kevin's got a great question I want us to answer. And Ivan seconds the question. So, what's fun, guys, is me and Jordan literally had a conversation, very extensive conversation this week about this topic. So we don't always do it well. She is so great at keeping me in check. So that had to happen this week. But I'll let her speak when she gets back. This door's moving over here. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, maybe this does need to be there. She's already back. Just trying to figure out how to not go on a new conversation. So we got a great question. Okay. The question is how do you manage being married, serving in church, ministry, preaching, spending quality time with yourself and your kids, and still find to write a book, create content?
Oh man.
I said that we just had a pretty hard conversation about all this recently.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy, and it's something that we have to continue to like communicate with, and I think that something that's been, I mean, you can speak to that, but I knew that was going to happen. Something that's been helpful for you was getting an assistant.
Yes.
So if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, for the last month, I finally got an assistant. So I had a lot of people tell me to do that. And we just, thankfully, our stewardship team even suggested, hey, we think you're at the point to get an assistant. And y'all, if you're a pastor who is able to afford even just 10 hours a week, an assistant, it just is a game changer for me. So my meetings, I'm just scheduled so far out, and I feel like I'm not dropping balls there. There's a lot of email stuff I don't have to worry about anymore. I just feel a lot more efficient. So it's been like a month, like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And I just feel more energy, more excitement, because I'm able to like laser focus on stuff I want to do. And so because I got the assistant, I imagine I'm going to start adding a little more margin back to where I can begin to produce content again on this channel. Now, the reason I was having meetings is we're trying to figure out, this is still my channel, but how can we do this to also bless our church? So our meeting was with people from our church, and it was a little bit more strategy. How do we share with people what's been working, what's not been working, but then kind of leverage it to help, like, multiply what we're doing at Passion Creek to other places. So it's kind of like a spin-off that we're trying to do, and I'm excited about it. But man, it hasn't always been easy. Literally like 2 weeks ago, you're like, hey, let's recalibrate. So I think it's those constant conversations.
For sure. Yeah. And I think that for me, I try and use time to write while I'm at work. So like I've got like a 30-minute lunch break, and I'll try and eat my food really fast, like 5 minutes, and then spend 25 minutes writing. Mm-hmm. Or if there's like a lull in the classroom, whether it's like she's giving a test and there's not anything for me to necessarily do in that moment, I'll pull up my computer and try and write. So that way I'm finding little pockets throughout my day to write, create content or whatever. So that when I get home, I'm not using that time away from family and away from you. But it's also I don't know. I'm interested to see how next school year goes because our schedule at the school is changing. And so we're gonna not have school on Fridays. And so hopefully that's gonna give some more margin and be able to like really be strict and consistent with like time.
Yeah. And just for me and the YouTube stuff, that hasn't been a priority because we've been trying to really build up our church and our systems and our leadership structures. I've really turned more into, man, especially since last summer, like, I think more and more, I don't think manager is a bad word. I think to be a good, effective pastor, part of it is managing people, and it's managing expectations, and it's helping your staff know, like, how do I know if I'm winning? Making a consistent cadence of meeting with people and giving them goals to reach. And so that's taken a lot of my time. I think in the beginning, especially, it just takes a lot of time to figure that out. But now I feel like we're in a pretty good rhythm. So I'm hoping to find a little bit more margin. I think another thing to help people, I feel like I've always been a more productive person, is like I always follow my energy levels. So I just know 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. is my most productive. So I don't waste those hours. Although right now I'm kind of wasting them because we're one vehicle family. And so I'm having to stop my flow to go take you, which a joy, like being a good husband and a good father. But in the past, I can just keep with that flow, say goodbye to you. You guys drive to school and I'm still in that flow. So that's been a little bit hard. But another thing that's been healthy for me and helping with my productivity is running. So running is such a joy for me. It's where I get to talk with God and to listen to him, to meditate on scripture. So it's about like an hour and 15 time slot every day where I'm running and then walking. So that's been really helpful. I found myself to be a lot more productive the rest of the day. But I have not been productive on YouTube as much because I'm still trying to figure out exactly what kind of content to make. So now I feel like I understand the game so much. It took me forever, but I understand YouTube to where you don't make content if you're not even really sure what lane you're trying to go down, because one, you don't want the video to pop off that you actually don't want to keep making.
Right.
So it's like, okay, well, who is my audience? What kind of content am I trying to make? Veering away, I used to just do like, this vlog really has no meaning, where it's just us says, no, we're like, now it's like, it's got to be ministry related. My tagline that I really want it to sink in is like, hey, I'm helping pastors shift from being Sunday directors to being spiritual directors. And so I think that's helping me understand the kind of content to make. But I don't know if that means book reviews or it just means like something I've learned or 3 things that's helping me with preaching or, you know, me setting up church. I haven't nailed that part down. But I think my biggest bummer this past year is, are you bored?
No.
Talking too much.
Listening.
Our views are just dropping because it's just me talking. But my biggest mistake is, I think a little over a year ago, I was like, I'm going to make a vlog. It's going to be a series, like a challenge of us trying to become a church of 200. So 90%, I think, of churches in America are below 200. So it's like a harder barrier to hit than most people realize. Right. So most courses out there for pastors, it's always the breaking 200. So 200's like a really hard number to hit and to keep hitting past. You kind of know this a little bit. Yeah. So I was like, oh, what if I document our journey of trying to figure out how to become a church of 200? And then I got scared and I was like, what if I fail? But then, so that was part of it, which is lame. Like, I think spiritual leadership is risking humiliation in public. Like that, right. I should have been fine with that. And I think that's some residue from the embarrassment from a couple years ago that I just needed to let go of, but I wasn't fully healed of that yet. More than that though, I didn't want people to get confused because our whole heartbeat of our church is not to make attenders, right, but to make disciples. And I believe that. Now you need a certain attender number, you know, like, so in order to make them disciples. But I didn't want there to be confusion. Like, wait a minute. You say you're not about attenders, but literally you have a whole vlog about how many attenders are coming. Yeah. So that was always the struggle. So I just decided to let off, even though I think it probably could have been fun. It'd been fun even for us just to look because it happened. And it's like, right. Shoot, that'd have been really cool to document and see the little progress. But I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying? I feel like I would have been
it could have been
misunderstood
or I feel like that's that. I mean, it makes sense to say that you're not about numbers, essentially. and then to have a whole thing about how do we hit this number, like it's like irony, but
yeah.
But we did do it, and
to me, there's
kind
an
of
explanation.
Cool. It does, and honestly, too, I don't know. I feel like sometimes anything you do, someone's gonna find a problem with it.
Oh yeah.
So it's like you're never gonna make everyone happy. So
yeah, I just found out this week some more people that were having. I never told you this, but someone told me, and they had all these issues with me. I was like, oh, I was kind of going well with life without knowing that.
Wow.
Nice. That's just a part of it.
It really is, though. Yeah, which is not a fun part, but you deal with it.
And leadership's disappointing people at a rate they can handle. Sometimes they can't handle it.
That's true.
So you just keep leading, though. But yeah, it would have been fun. So now, though, I don't know if I'm gonna I don't want to do the next goal. Like we haven't established like now we got to figure out how to get 350. We don't have anything like that.
Right.
But we do have different ways we're thinking about. We do have different goals for our church, but they're not as metric based.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want to tie my next YouTube vlogging journey to some sort of goal. One of them though is, remember 18 months ago, what did I tell our staff? I said, there's two things. We got to do it in this order. Number one is
18 months ago.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. I'm sorry. I'm confused. Leadership.
I said, break 200. That's what we were just talking about.
Okay.
Then I said, once we break 200, then.
I'm so sorry. Do you realize that was a long time ago?
A lot has happened in 18 months.
I know you're going to say it, and I'm going to be like, oh, I totally knew that.
Get a building, Jordan.
Well, that's always been something that we've talked about.
I know, but I told our people, like, if we can't hit 200, it's not even
for sure.
in the realm of possibility.
Right, because stats, and once you hit 200, then you have a budget that typically...
It's budget.
Yes, I know all of that. I'm sorry. I know all of that.
So I think part of this is, okay, how do we fundraise and get a building, get land, all of that? I want to like document that journey, but still not also lose our soul. Like, how do we still keep it? It's not about attenders. It is about making disciples.
Right.
And then constantly like peek behind the curtain. Here's how we're forming our people. Here's the next 3 years, what those look like. And so that's kind of stuff that's fun. And these last 3 years have been a joy vision casting wise with our formedbyjesus.com stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, the practices. And
Patrick Powell says that's a long time ago.
That is a long time ago. Thank you.
I miss book reviews. Thank you. I always felt like when I did my book reviews, I was worried that like my English teacher would comment like, this is not a proper book review. So, I mean, I love all my English teachers that I can remember, but no, but I'd always be like, man, what is a book review? Is it an actual essay? Which I don't even want to start talking about that. 33 hits you.
Okay, hold on. Let's pause. Rewind. Back to your book reviews.
Yes.
It does not have to be an essay. I am in the book world, so I follow bookstagrammers, Instagram influencers in the book world. And it's...
Can it be like 3 gold nuggets from the book?
Literally. Like, especially yours is so different. Like, they're so short. And it's just an opinion.
My books?
Not you.
What do you mean?
The bookstagrammers reviews.
Oh, yeah, like a minute?
Are so short. And they can't give spoilers. So they're not, I mean, like, it's just basically
we're
like...
in different worlds.
I know that. That's why I'm saying. But it doesn't, like, it can be literally a 1-minute video. Like, it does not have to be this huge...
Oh, yeah, this was the other problem, though.
5-paragraph paper.
So I'm competitive, an achiever, and then all of a sudden it becomes like, oh, I need to read 10 more books to make 10 more videos. And then I lose the joy of why I'm reading in the first place. So I'm reading to feed my soul and to help with my sermons, and help with my vision, casting, and leadership. I don't like sucking that joy away by saying, like, I need to make videos for it. So, okay.
No, I was just going to say, I don't think that that's something you'd be like, you need to say like, oh, I have to do this. But more so like you read a book and you're like, oh my word, that was life-changing. I'm just going to tell people they should read it.
Yeah. But what's hard is if you want to be successful on YouTube, you got to figure out what? You got to get consistent. So But I'm turning into the people that I always was like, guys, it doesn't matter. Because people would say, I haven't quite figured out, so I didn't upload yet. I'm like, just upload. But I feel like I already did that, where I just did the upload. I have over 900 videos. Did you know this? I have 900 videos on YouTube, and I have unlisted or privated 650 of them.
Wow.
Yeah, I got rid of like all of them. Yeah. Literally, Zach, one of my best friends, texted me today. He goes, hey, man, I really love to see, I've been watching some of your YouTube videos lately, and it's been cool to see it mature with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like so true. Like the 2017 vlogs, cringe, you know? So I used to keep them up. But then I recently looked back and I was like, oh my goodness, this had no purpose.
Yeah, but
I mean, I didn't delete
without
them.
those, you don't see your growth.
I know.
You don't see how far you've come.
That's true. So you want me to put them back on?
No, I'm not. You do whatever you want to do. I'm just saying, you shouldn't be embarrassed of them.
No,
everyone starts somewhere.
No, I'm not. Okay, maybe I'm embarrassed of them.
You are embarrassed of them.
That's terrible.
That's what I'm saying.
I know. I'm a terrible person.
You are not a terrible person. That's not what I'm saying.
No, yeah. I don't know. It's on you.
I know. I've got that one.
Wait,
when the light's on too, I can tell that it's
on
me.
Picked up?
Yes.
On the switcher?
I'm not dumb. It's very obvious.
This is a new angle for the pod. Do you like it?
Yeah.
That's quick.
What?
It wasn't really thought through. It's just like,
oh, wow. And then if I would have taken too long, you'd be like, you paused.
Life with me is really hard. I always show her those, it's not that bad, but those OCD posts, and I just randomly send them to you. Like if your spouse has OCD.
I know exactly what it feels like.
Are they usually accurate, the one I send them to you?
Every single day. But I wouldn't change it.
Wow, thank you. That took too long.
Oh, my word.
I'm kidding.
I literally knew that's what you were going to say.
Yeah. No, I think the main ones that I'll never bring back up again is that little short stint when I made live videos and did like cultural commentary. Like, oh, look, you know, that's not my style.
Yeah.
That didn't make any sense. What else do you want to talk about? Our marriage.
Our marriage.
Ooh.
What about our marriage?
You tell me. Also, within the last 11 months, you just had another Cultivate conference.
I did. I think
that's our women's conference.
Yeah. I think that was probably our best conference. And I say that.
And we spent like no money.
Literally.
It was amazing.
It was great. We like brought in, because I mean tickets weren't expensive, but we also didn't spend a lot, so like we pretty much almost broke even, which was really cool. I think that I had a lot more women involved, like on the planning and helping, and
well, we've also just have a lot more women at our
that's
church.
True. We do. And this was the second year that we really pretty much just primarily it was just our people.
Yeah.
But we stripped this conference down and we took away like so many of the like extras.
Yeah.
And made it more like inward focused, and we're like we want it to be a time where we got to intentionally pour into and encourage the women of Passion Creek. And now that was not to say like, hey, you can still bring your mom or your sister or whatever.
Yeah.
But know that it's like the content, the things that are going to be. We're not spending
YouTube ads on just some random cold calls.
Right. Like it's going to be like geared towards the women at our church. And I think that our speakers and testimonies and like everything was just so good.
You really killed it. It was like 32 minutes. You were shocked that it was that long.
That's the longest I have ever. And again,
so
it was
comfortable.
Choppy. But I went up there and was like, that's the most I have not looked at my notes while talking.
Right.
That's the most I have thrown stuff in the middle that was not in my notes, that I just like came to my head and
you were
said,
making jokes.
I don't know who I was up there. I shocked myself. I was like, wow. I was very, very comfortable and was able to kind of just stray from my notes and just talk, which I've always wanted to be able to do, but it never had. And so it was just such a fun such a fun event. It was everyone just kept using the word sweet. It was just such a sweet time. Yeah. It really was.
Yeah. It's just been cool. We've labored for that kind of conference for 9 years, and it was really cool just to see it happen. That's kind of been the story of a lot of what we have. And I think there's a way to talk about the success of our church in a very braggadocious, and again, there's a million churches that are doing more than us, but it's just like, it's hard not to talk about it because we're so grateful. Yeah. Like, it's just stuff that we've been praying for and laboring for so long.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. It's just been such a joy. So I just feel like most of my conversations with people is just like, I'm just so excited to be a part of this church.
Yeah.
What a joy to just see people take things and run with them, and we don't have to like be involved in. And it's just like working out so well, and just the way our people are growing in groups. And I don't know. It's just been fun.
Yeah, and I think there's a way to do that without it being weird. Like, I think
go ahead.
What's
big for us is we honor our people. It's not like we're saying, look how great we are. We're saying,
exactly,
man, these people are incredible.
And look at what God is doing through these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been a lot of fun. But man, not without trials and temptations and tears and something else that starts with a T. Alliteration.
My brain couldn't come up with something fast enough. What did you say? Trials and temptations?
And tears.
And tears and troubles?
Yes. Kind of like trials, though.
It's the only one I could think of.
Okay. We can still hear your dog.
I know. What am I supposed to do with him? I bring him in here. He's going to knock over all of the cameras.
I know. Just get rid of him. We can hear you breathing.
Well, yeah, that's my long exhale of breath, because that's the 19th millionth time I've heard you give that suggestion.
Yeah. So anyways, what else, babe?
I love how you said, let's talk about our marriage. And then you're like, and she did a women's conference.
Oh, okay. So let's
talk about we don't need to talk about our marriage. Our marriage is fine.
Okay. The biggest thing I did for, no, that's dramatic. Bringing it back.
Okay.
But something I did for our marriage is we watched all of the Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
And that took like 6 months. And I miss it.
And you watched all of them. Like,
not the new Netflix one.
Well,
I tried that
Year
for 20
in
minutes.
We don't count that.
Okay, that's not canon.
Everyone knows that that's not included. Start to finish, like very first episode to the very last one. And
it was so fun.
And it wasn't like he was just suffering through because he made a commitment. The first season was rough, which is the first season of almost any show is a lot, because there's so much like background that's being set up, which is like the first act of a book. It's hard because you've got to just like set the scene, give character development. But then he was invested. You were like, another one, like you were in it. You were in it, and you made us
but now we have
miss
nothing.
out on seeing Lauren Graham live in New York.
Oh, did we not talk about this? We didn't.
Well, we haven't, because that was 11 months ago, and we were on here 11 months ago.
Okay, this has to happen. So I made a New York vlog. Pretty proud of it. It's a great vlog. It's on the channel. I have been posting around here every once in a while. But I didn't include this in the vlog because this vlog was just fun and magical.
Yeah.
But what happened on the last day?
Yeah, we were in a bookstore, because that makes sense. We were in a bookstore in New York. And okay, that's another thing about, I say another thing, we haven't even talked about New York. A thing about New York is that finding a public restroom that is not disgusting and accessible, right? And that's not very easy. So we found one at the Rockefeller Center, and so we were like, oh, the bookstore is really close to Rockefeller Center. We'll just go there really quick. And so we go over, and we are about to walk through the little revolving doors, and there's this girl and a guy, and they're holding clipboards, and they're like, hey, we have 2 free tickets just for you guys to go to the Kelly Clarkson show. And I was tempted to like hear him out, get more information.
And you really were.
I really was. This is Kelly Clarkson.
Well, and I'm like,
have you watched her show?
No,
of course you haven't.
Never.
But like,
have you?
I've seen clips of it for sure.
Gotcha.
She interviews people,
Yeah.
but then she also has this thing called karaoke.
Oh, nice.
Where she like sings.
See, I thought
a popular song from somewhere.
I was just like, we have such a packed day. Why would we waste it on this? But then it turns out all the stuff we were going to do that day was on a Tuesday and everything was closed down.
Everything was closed. And
so we didn't know all that. Anyways.
But anyway, so Trey's like, no thanks.
Yeah, you're just skeptical.
It's
easy to be skeptical. Like you're in the middle of New
agreed.
York City. You're not just going to believe anything. So
Agreed.
I'm like, total cynic is on. I never regretted it. You all day were like, I wonder.
I'm like, we should have. How did we turn down two free tickets to
what
the
the lady
Kelly
say?
Clarkson show? This is literally free, and nothing in New York is free. But this is free for you. And I just thought, how in the world? Like, even
I was thinking about it more.
We went to the bathroom, we came out, and I was like, oh, maybe they're still out there.
I was thinking about this more though. We were in New York when it was so cold.
It was freezing,
and people know that. So it wasn't a touristy time. So they're probably like, we just need bodies.
Yeah.
This is why it's free.
Right.
But I just doubted it. It was like, nothing's free here. What do you mean? Kelly Clarkson, is it really that bad that they can't fill up an audience? But it was like the end of January. No one's in New York. It was
so cold.
We don't have any context of how many people are normally in New York, but I think it was less than normal, which is why I think the conference was then, because it was cheap for that church to rent something because no one is doing anything.
Yes. Okay. Agreed.
So then
anyway, so we leave. They're not there. We live our day.
This is my channel.
Oh.
Just kidding. Marriage is doing well. So that night we go to tacos. Number 2 tacos, is that what it's called?
Number 2 Los. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
Great place.
And I say, I wonder who was interviewed. And I just leave it at that?
You said we should look up and see who was interviewed today.
I don't know if I said that.
You did.
Well, then I went and got the food for us because I'm a gentleman.
Yes. While I stood at the table.
And started Googling.
Yep. Pulled up the Kelly Clarkson show Instagram and looked at the lineup for the week and saw that Tuesday was Lauren Graham. And they were talking about the 25th anniversary of Gilmore Girls.
So that's the main character. Lauren Graham is Lorelai.
Lorelai Gilmore. People know that. If they know Gilmore Girls, they know that.
If they're on my channel, they don't know that.
Yeah, we could have sat there and watched them interview Lorelai Gilmore and ask her all the questions about the show and behind the scenes and what it was like filming and the characters.
Which we could have watched that on YouTube. Let's go watch that interview.
We did. No, later that night. But I'm just saying.
Then I comforted myself. Maybe they shoot a day late, so maybe that was Mondays, but no.
It was
live.
Literally Tuesday, and we said no.
So that's a huge bummer of our trip.
That really was like
if we went to that, we would have been like, guys, greatest trip of all time. Look at the Lord. Like, we had just finished Gilmore Girls, and didn't we already finish it by then? Like,
I think we only had a couple episodes left.
I mean, it would have been so poetic. And I missed out on the interruptions. God shows up in interruptions. That's the sermon illustration.
Yeah, it is. And you missed it.
So our marriage has been rough ever since.
Hey, that is not true. False information. What's wrong with you?
Anything else?
No. No, I do think that with the new season of church, we have had to feel like we've always been like, oh yeah, like marriage is great. And we've had hard seasons because we've gone through hard things. And we've said this on the channel before and on lives before, but I think growing up together, like literally from 16, growing up together, has helped us so that they're like, it kind of takes away and eliminates some of the fights that I feel like some other people have in marriage when they get married later on in life. And, but this new season of church has been interesting and has kind of changed, the dynamic a little, just because your time is much more needed. I mean, when we launched the church, that was true too, but that was also a different kind of thing. But so it has been that we've been in a season, or we've entered into a season where we've had to really be more intentional about communicating with each other and saying like, hey, you're distracted, or like you're here physically, your person is here, but like you're on your phone, or you're texting while I was telling you a story, or it's just things that we've had to work through.
Yeah, I fell for that lie that, it's just this week. Like, I'm really busy.
Yeah.
I have to fix everything this week, so please give me a pass. And you've always been really good with that, of like, yeah, okay, we get it. I get it. We'll do what we have to do. But then you look back and go, oh, that was 4 months ago, and I still am super busy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that we've had to put parameters and do different things like that we haven't had to do before. And that's just because our church is in it's a really fun season. It's really awesome.
Yeah.
We're in a season of growth and a lot of new and fun things, but with that comes more time commitments and responsibilities from you that we just haven't dealt with before.
And I think one thing that we're doing lately is not watching TV at night and just spending more quality time playing cards together, talking, playing nerds. And I don't know, I don't know, probably there'll be a show down the road, but it has felt like, no, it's really good to just be with each other instead of being next to each other.
Right. Which I'm sure this probably helps too.
What, doing this?
Forced communication. Just kidding. What?
But people don't. You're feisty all the time like this.
Just recently, I don't know. Recently, in the last 2 days. I'm not always feisty.
Yeah, you are.
I'm always funny, but I'm not always feisty.
It's super humble about it.
You do say all the time that people don't know how funny I am.
They don't know how funny you are. Absolutely.
Low-key hilarious, you guys. What? You're just a
Joke's on you now. Okay, I have a question. My church is great, but one thing I feel is missing is fellowship outside the walls of the church. Do you think implementing life groups in a traditional style church could help? Oh yeah. Great question, Patrick. So I have to, we're a church plant, so we don't deal with traditional style church issues. But man, home groups, we call them together groups, but groups in your home are huge. Even when we get a building, our plan is to keep that. It's just been amazing first of all, for the host to learn how to host people over in their home. It really opens people up. We have found once people really take that next step of being a part of a group, it's amazing how much our that community gels. So absolutely, I think that's crucial too. And one book that's been helpful, it's old, Sticky Church by Larry Osborne. Just talks about how your group should probably be sermon based. So we've always done sermon based groups. So it's like, hey, it's not based off of some other book for everybody to read, because let's be honest, people don't read like they used to. But you can talk about the sermon that you just heard and then dive into more passages. So yes, I think, increasing fellowship. I think that is one joy of our church. Our people really know each other. That's probably the one huge thing we did in 2024. We stressed hospitality all year long. We taught about it. We celebrated it. We reminded people about it. We had a visual display to remind people, to host people every single week. And that changed the culture of our church.
Yeah, for sure. There's just something about gathering together with people from the church, but outside of the church on a weekly basis, and eating a meal together and just having conversation, and that leads in obviously to the discussion about the sermon based guide. But we've definitely strengthened and deepened relationships and gained new ones just through groups. Groups been huge in our church and since the beginning, really. But
and we have people share the load on bringing meals, and it's just really cool to see people take responsibility and do the hard work of community. So absolutely praying for you as you figure out how to roll that out. But man, fellowship outside the four walls. We obviously don't have four walls yet. Yeah. But outside of the school, man, that's the bread and butter of our church, is what we do, not just on Sundays, but throughout the week. Anything else? It's been an hour. We probably need to.
Wow. It's been an hour.
Yeah. Do we need this? Do we need to wait another 11 months, or do you want to do this again sooner with a more well-defined
I am always
category?
down to do this.
Okay. Really?
Yeah.
We need to have you on our Formed by Jesus podcast to talk about fasting.
I know.
What does that mean?
What?
You have been fasting.
I have been fasting.
You're just scared that...
Yeah, that I don't know, won't have anything to say. I don't know. Okay, I had my own podcast, but I've never been interviewed, have I? You've never interviewed me?
No, not yet. That's why I think it'll be great.
I know, but why am I scared?
I don't know. You'd rather be funny?
I don't know. I'll do it. Good. I have been fasting. I've been doing the practice. Good.
All right, well, if that's all we have. Does that feel more like intro music?
I don't know. It could be outro. But it is kind of a more upbeat, like, hey, we're here to party.
Oh, man. Pastor Trey, how do you handle church discipline? We do handle it. Don't escape it, or else it'll only get worse. This is why we love having a team of elders, and we also involve the deacons when we need to. So big thing is to pray about it. Make sure it's not just your ego. This is actually a thing that needs to be disciplined, because sometimes we just have to be patient with people. But then be firm, steadfast, immovable in the faith. And one phrase I love that I learned in college: don't call it church discipline, because the ultimate goal is restoration. So we call it church restoration. But discipline has to be had in order to help restore. So check out the 9 Marks, guys. They have some good curriculum, good resources, a good book on church discipline that we've used in the past. It's a sad thing. I also think this is huge advice. Address 2s before 10s. So I think sometimes we have to get ourselves into a situation to actually discipline, because we allowed a small sin just to continue to fester in people's lives. So little things like gossip, when we hear it, what's the idiom there? We nip it in the bud?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. We nip that in the bud. So gossip, other things, address 2s before they become 10s. And if as a pastor you don't address the 2s, they will become 10s, and then it affects a lot more people around. So deal with the issues. Don't be a micromanager, but work within, work in the power of the Holy Spirit. Just even that question, praying for you, brother. That's been hard. We've had to do that a lot in our 9 years. Not a lot, but it feels like a lot. It colors a lot of when we look back. It's a lot of our memories. But God has always been gracious and favorable to us when we fight the good fight and we do the right thing. Galatians 6:9. For do not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time, if we do not give up, we will reap a harvest. So that's a promise we hold on to. Thank you, guys. We'll see you in 11 months.